I'm going to record this, and I'm also going to, at the end of the period, real quick, I'm going to record the answers to, Angelina, you with me here? I'm going to record the answers to the sheet you're working on now. So on the internet tonight, you will be able to find the answers to all of the pretests that you did, with the video from yesterday already being up there. Today's video will be up there by the time you get home. And another video with correct answers. It'll be much shorter. It won't have, obviously, the class discussion, but it will have the answers to everything you're doing today. So here's the answers to yesterday's. And what I'm going to do is go through it slowly and then ask if there's any questions you might have, and then point out some areas that I've seen a little bit of difficulty with. So let's start by comparing your answers to these answers and you kind of grading yourself. So everyone that you get wrong, put an X through, okay? I want you to put a grade on your paper, yes? Okay. Go ahead, work it through. You could do -1 n squared too, if you want, sure. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, again, if you're wrong, just put an X through it. Did everybody get numbers 1 through 9 checked off? No? Okay, I'll go back. Again, just right or wrong. We can talk about how to do them in a little bit. Alan, you're not with me here, bud. Yeah, well, focus better. You can do it. I can go now? Okay, good. Here's 10 through 12. Yeah. No. Oh, you know what? Oh, I'm an idiot. I thought it was 9 times 5. Number 11 should be 3.6. Okay? Yeah, number 11 should be 3.6. The exponent all works out to be the same. Okay. Now, has everybody graded numbers 1 through 12? All right, so it says here that they're worth 4 points apiece. So take the number wrong, multiply by 4, and then go put it down here somewhere. Okay? So count up the number wrong, multiply by 4, and put it down there somewhere. Yes? Alan, that's not a good thing, bud. Alan, stop. Right? That kind of thinking, my pastor at church would call stinking thinking. No excuses, right? Stop. Guys, I can't even begin to hear at this point. You turn around, face forward. Chelsea, what was that? Just put -0. All we're going to do is count points off. Okay, friend? Did you have a question? Okay. Now, let's go one step at a time with the part 2, 3, and 4 questions. Number 12, here it is. Now, obviously, if you got it right, you put a little check mark there. Here are your possible mistakes. The question's worth 4 points. If you got the exponent right, but you got the 2 wrong, the 2 in front, the coefficient, right, -2. If you got the 2 correct, but you got the exponent wrong, write minus 2. If you got both the coefficient and the exponent wrong, it's minus 4. Yes?
I have 2.0 times 10 to the 15.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, 2 and 2.0 are the same thing. Okay? So basically, you're going to get 2 points for the coefficient, 2 points for the exponent, and you could get 0 out of 4, 2 out of 4, or 4 out of 4. Mark down how many points are taken off. Put minus whatever, because that's how we'll put it all together at the end. Now, let's take a look at numbers 14, A and B. If you got them right, put a little check mark there. If you got them wrong, each of these questions is worth 5 points. So, on letter A, look and see if you distributed first. If you did, so far so good. Then look and see if you did same side, same operation, and came up with 7 W's here. Hold on. If you did, you're in good shape. This is a 3W over here. Then look and see if you did plus 12 on both sides. And finally, if you got the right answer. If you got to the point where you said 7W equals 49 and you somehow divided wrong, put minus 1. If you did the step where you do plus 12, but you didn't do the 7W, then do minus 2. If you didn't distribute, then it's another minus. It's minus 3. So basically, you get 1 point to distribute, 2 points to make sure you did same side, same operation, and 2 points to make sure that you added the 12 to both sides. And then you've got to come up with a 7. If you don't come up with a 7, it's minus 1. Okay? Now take a look at letter B. On letter B, the most important thing on letter B is that you do opposite side, opposite operation. Here, I have to make sure that I always attack the smallest number of n's. So you should do minus n to both sides. You could do minus 3n and still get the answer right. But it's easier to just do minus n. Careful, danger, danger, danger. This 7's negative. So many people down here will put a positive. Okay? Equals 2n minus 1, and then you undo the minus 1, and then you divide by 2, and you get negative 3. Now, how could you lose points here? If you did not do same operation, if you didn't do opposite side, opposite operation, you are going to immediately lose 2 points. If you forgot the negative sign in front of the 7, you're going to lose 2 points. If you didn't do plus 1, you're going to lose 2 points. Now, the most points you could possibly lose is 5. The way we evaluate this is if it's more wrong than right, you get 1 or 2 out of 5. So you would lose 3 or 4 points, or all 5 if you're completely wrong. If you're more right than wrong, you're going to lose 1 point or 2 points. So you have to judge what you think you deserve to lose on that. Okay, let's take a look at letters C and D. First off, if you don't recognize that letter C is the same side situation, you're going to lose a bunch of points. Your first step should say that there are 6 n's and then negative 1 and positive 3. This right here is the step that's driving kids crazy. I see more kids writing minus 2 here instead of plus 2. It should be 6n plus 2. You're always keeping the sign of the bigger number here because it's the longer list. If you don't have that step, you're going to take off 3. So it should say 6n plus 2 is 10. Now, if you messed up the 2, but you got the 6n, give yourself minus 2 instead of minus 3. And then the minus 2, and then divide by 6. And you could either write 4 over 3, or you could write 8 over 6. You could write 1.3 repeating, but it had better have a line over the top, or 3, 3, 3, dot, 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 dot. I doubt you did that. Hopefully you didn't, because that's bad to do. So if you got these answers, it's full credit. If not, you got to take off what I said before. If you didn't do the minus 2s to both sides. If you put a minus 2 here, but then you put plus 2 underneath, that's okay. Okay? All right. And so put down how many minuses you should get for that question. And then let's go over to letter D. You got to distribute on both sides. To distribute on both sides is worth 2 points. So then you get 12x plus 6 equals 12x plus 6. Then on the next step, you subtract 12x from both sides. That's worth another point. Then 6 equals 6 is another point. So far we've got 4 points. And then finally, you need to write down that all the numbers are answers. If you only left off with 6 equals 6 and you stop there, you're going to lose a point. Somewhere you have to write down that every number is an answer to this question. There are infinite numbers of answers because anytime it equals itself. Now, if it said 10 equals 6, there would be no answers. Okay, 5 points here. Solve the following for J. That means get J by itself. Plus K, that's worth 2 points. Then you have to divide by 2. That's worth another 2 points. So that brings us up to 4. And then just so I can read, J equals T plus K over 2. As long as I see that somewhere, that's the last point. Yes?
I didn't get to finish this yesterday.
Then you should have finished it at home last night. So then it would be -5, whatever you didn't finish. Okay, number 16. When it comes to questions like 16, 17, 18, and so on, you basically get half the points to set it up and half the points to solve it. So if you look at number 16, there's only one number in the problem. You know that because it says find the number. And then we're going to get down, it's 2 more than 4 times a number. So it should say 4n plus 2. If it said 2 plus 4n, that's okay as well. So that's worth, out of the 5 points, that's going to be worth 2 out of the 5. So this step here where it just says 4n plus 2 is 34, that's worth 2 out of the 5. Then we minus 2 from both sides and divide by 4, and I get n equals 8. Those are the last 3 points. So it's like a point for this, a point for this, and a point for this. A point to subtract, a point to divide, and a point to come out properly with the division. 32 divided by 4 is 8. Any question on number 16? So please remember, as you go along, you keep writing minus however many you got on each question, and at the end, we'll add them all up. Okay, number 17. The sum of 3 consecutive integers is 42. So here's my first integer, n. Even integers. Next even integer is n plus 2. Look, when you have an even integer, let's say you pick your favorite even integer and you pick 8. The next even integer is not 9. What's the next even integer? From 8, what's the next even integer, guys? Hey,
10.
8 goes to 10. How do you go from 8 to 10? You go up by how many? 2. And that's why over here I do plus 2. And then the third one will be n plus 4. So over here in my equation, so first off, to set up the box is going to be worth a point. So you should have some setup with the box which should be worth a point. Then you come over on the side and I need to see n plus 2 plus n plus 4 equals 42. That's going to be worth another point. So I have 2 points total in my setup so far. Then I see same side, same operation deal. That's going to be worth another point. So I should see the line where it says 3n plus 6 is 42. Subtract 6 from both sides. 3n is 36. Divide by 3, and I get n is equal to 12. So that adds up to 4 points so far to solve that properly. The last thing you need to do, though, is you need to state that the largest is 16. So it's 12, 14, 16. That's worth a point. Okay? All right, so now we go to number 17. Again, to set up the box properly is worth a point. 2 numbers in this problem because it says find both numbers. So there's a first number and a second number. This is like the quiz question we did so many times. The first number, always n or x, whatever you want it to be. The next number, it says here, is 2 less than twice the number. So that's 2x minus 2. Then I'm going to add the first number plus the second number. That's the x plus the 2x minus 2. And altogether, I get 40. So 1x plus 2x is 3x. 3x minus 2 is 40. Add the 2 and so on. So it's 1 point for the table. It's 1 point for this equation right here. X plus 2x minus 2 is 40. Then it's 2 points to solve the equation. 3x minus 2 is 40. You go through and solve it. You get 14. And then it's another point to substitute the values back in and get 14 and 26. Because it does say find both numbers. If you only found the 14, then you wouldn't get that point. Okay, now the last question, number 19. This is a very challenging question, I believe. What's the area of a rectangle whose length is 1 more than 3 times the width and whose perimeter is 74? So as soon as it says rectangle, I'm not going to set up a table. As soon as it talks about shapes, I'm going to draw the shape. So I draw the shape. Here it is. And the sides are going to be W for width. And then it says that the length is 1 more than 3 times the width. So I put 3W plus 1. And then I mark it all the way around the rectangle. W, 3W plus 1, W, 3W plus 1. I got them all marked all around there. And perimeter means add up all the sides. So again, this is another question worth, I believe, 5 points. So it's going to be 1 point to set up your rectangle and another point to set up your equation, which is the first side W plus the second side, which is 3W plus 1, plus the third side, which is W, plus the fourth side, which is 3W plus 1. And that all has to add up to the perimeter, which is 74. So 1 point for the table, 1 point for the equation. Then, same side, same operation. I should see 8W plus 2 is 74. Solving it is worth another 2 points. You get to the point where W is equal to 9. Okay? So that's 4 points out of 5. The last point is to find the area, because in the beginning it says, what is the area? So area is length times width. So I have to take the 9, here it is. I also have to plug it in over here. 3 times 9 is 27, plus 1 is 28. Multiply 28 times 9 and get 252. Okay? Any questions? Now, go through your test and add up all your minuses. See how many minus points you came up with. Keep in mind, this is going to look just like your real test with the numbers changed. The last one was worth 5. Okay, so add up all the minuses. And then, once you're done adding up all the minuses, start with 100, somewhere on your paper, write 100, and then minus however many points you just lost. So if you had minus 22, you'd put 100 minus 22. If you had minus 27, you'd do 100 minus 27. If you had 50, you'd do 100 minus 50. Figure out what that equals, and that's the grade you would have gotten on your test. Yes? That's great, but right now the only papers I'm worried about working are the ones that help you on your test on Friday. Otherwise, you know what the problem is if you don't do really well with that kind of stuff? You'll make $7 an hour now. I think it's $7.75. All right, let's say $8.25. You'll make $8.25 now, which seems like big bucks, but you'll make $8.25 when you're 18, and you'll make $10.25 when you're 25, and it's not enough money to live on. Yeah, it's terrible. That's why you got to do well at school. Okay. Now, the next question I have for you is, how many of you were satisfied with the grade you got? I'm seeing about 5 hands popping up.
I would like it higher, but
Maybe 6. Okay. So my questions now are there any of these questions you want me to go over? Are there any you want me to repeat, go over on the board, anything like that? Chelsea?
Number,
7?
no, 17.
17. Okay, so when I do number 17, it's all about consecutive integer. Now let me give you, for instance, if you mess something up and how many points you would get. Let's say you didn't really focus in on this word even, and you just did consecutive integers, then that would be n plus 1, n plus 2. It would affect the way the whole problem came out, but something like that I would do minus 2, and you could get all the rest of the credit, even though you didn't get a perfect answer. So that's the advantage to partial credit questions. Now, as I look at this, you know what, this pen has been unbelievable. It's just not working today.
you new one.
Or I got to reboot my computer, one or the other. So, or the battery's dead. We'll see. So as I take a look through this, I'll just point things out as I go along. The consecutive integers, the first one's always n or x. The next one, because it's consecutive even, goes up by 2. And then consecutive even again goes up by 2, so it's n plus 2, n plus 4. And here they are. My first one is n. My second one is n plus 2. My third one is n plus 4. That's why I write first, second, third across the top. Add them up, same side, same operation. 1 end, 2 end, 3 ends, and 2 and 4 make 6. And then I just minus the 6 from both sides, divide by 3, I get 12, 12, 14, 16. Okay?
How
How
do you,
do I what?
like, how would you get 16? Like, I know how to get
Well,
14.
here's the 12. Just plug it in. What's 12 plus 2? 14. Plug in the 12. What's 12 plus 4? 16. That's how I got my 16. Okay? Fernando?
Can you go over number 18?
18, sure. Now, this time, there's not three numbers in the problem. How many numbers are in the problem this time? 2. So I set up my table to include space for 2 numbers. So I have my first number and my second number. First number is x, and then it says that the second number, here's the key phrase, 2 less than twice another number. I really wish my pen was working so I could underline these things, but it's not, so I can't. 2 less than, switch, last shall be first, first shall be last. It says twice a number, that goes into the front, and 2 less than goes in the back. So 2 times a number, 2x minus 2. Then I have to come over here, I have to add them. X is the first number. 2x minus 2 is the second number. The first one plus the second one is 40. This is the same size situation. 3x minus 2 is 40, add the 2, divide by 3. X is 14. But just like in the other question, x is 14, and then I gotta plug the 14 in here. 2 times 14 is 28, minus 2 is 26. And what I always find very comforting with this is I find it comforting that I could look at these two numbers, 14 and 26. I can add them up, and I absolutely get the 40 that it says I was supposed to add up to, so I know I'm right. Okay? Are we good?
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, so now what I want you to do is to work on the other sheet. And this video that I just recorded this, I'm gonna post it to the internet in a couple of minutes, and then I'm gonna post the answers as well to the one that you got as you walked in the door.